So a recent video I did was on trouble in Linux land, where I talked about using KDE Neon and not having a great time. I used it because I hadn't used KDE for a while, and I wanted to revisit to see if maybe I was, misremembering how it worked or if it was any better. So I got some crap from that, from people who said you shouldn't have used KDE Neon, which I get. It's like a bleeding edge distro by the KDE folks. So we're taking a look at KDE and Fedora. So Fedora always had their flagship GNOME workstation version, and now they have a KDE version too. And this is not a spin. This is an actual legit, authorized version, I guess. I installed it on my laptop. As usual, I don't do these things in these installs in virtual machines. I do it on my actual laptop. I just blow it up and reimage it with whatever. So this is going to be Fedora with KDE, and we're going to give it a try and see how I like it. So stand by. So this is the welcome center for Fedora 42. This is a KDE edition. We can go back and here and see the various settings and privacy settings there, which is nice. Get them up front. You can enable third-party repositories, which is important in Fedora because they stick to the free open source software. So if you want to enable that, you have to do it manually here, which is fine because they tell you about it up front. And we'll go in and look at some of the software they have. They got the developer stuff. They got the various categories that you normally expect: education, games, graphics, the usual kind of thing in there. Most of the KDE Plasma apps are in there, like Kmail and that kind of thing, which I've never used before actually. So that should be interesting setting that up. Multimedia stuff's already there. I did install OBS Studio. That was not on there. That's the only thing I've actually installed since I installed it. This is pretty much just the way it comes out of the box with LibreOffice, so on and so forth. But your system controls here. Utilities, the usual kind of stuff that you'd expect. And that's about it as far as that sort of part of it's concerned. Now, I'm going to install some software in it. So we're going to come back in a few minutes here after I've installed the usual stuff that I put on here, and we'll see what it looks like then. Okay, this is my Fedora desktop after mucking around for an hour or so. I installed most of the programs I typically use, and also set up a theme here, which is the I have no idea. I just picked one that I liked. This is Lion, which changes the desktop appearance, and I added Crystal Dock at the bottom here as well. I did check some of the themes, I guess, can run arbitrary code. I kind of checked a couple of places, and this one seems safe enough. So I do like a dock. I don't know why exactly. It just kind of fits in with the way I do things. It's not really a Mac-centric thing. I do have a Mac and a MacBook Air, but that's not why I like the dock. I don't particularly like the dock on the Mac, actually, but this is good. It's got the little tooltips there. It shows you what you're, hovering over. It's easy enough to add programs to it. And we have the menu bar up here. You can launch stuff from here as well, just like you normally would. You might have noticed that the resolution on this is better than it was in the original recording when I did Fedora right at the start. For some reason, OBS was outputting it to 720p instead of 1080. I was able to change that now that I've got the codecs and stuff installed. The process is, it's fairly easy to do. It's just some command line stuff. you do have to enable the Fusion, RPM Fusion repository. Then you go ahead and add the different codec packages to give you H.264 and stuff like that, because with the default setup of Fedora, Kdenlive wasn't able to use the H.264 codec that I usually use when rendering. And Fedora is upfront about that. They tell you they don't, supply the non-free codecs. So it's easy enough to do. There's plenty of guides online to do it. I'll put links in the video description below. But once I did that, I have this set up here the way I like it. I like the, like I say, I like the dock. Pretty nicely set up, nice colors and everything. All the usual running program stuff up here, which is nice. I like that. And this, I must say, now this is maybe 4 hours into this since I initially loaded this up. Not even 4 hours, maybe 3 hours. I did notice this is running a lot better than KDE Neon. So, but strangely enough, I mean, this is still pretty bleeding edge. I mean, it's got the 6.15.3 kernel, which is, as far as I know, the current sort of kernel that's going around. It's got KDE Plasma 6.4 after I did the updates. And it's been very stable. It's using about almost 3 gigs, but I have OBS running as well. So, and it's been great. The only thing I noticed was when I started, after I initially did the installation, I forgot to connect to the Wi-Fi. When I tried to open the Discover, the software center, rather than just tell me, hey, dummy, you're not connected to the internet, it failed. It said it couldn't start, or I forget exactly what the message was, but it was something that sounded cryptic and bad, like failed to start. I think Discover failed to start, something like that. I would have rather had it say, hey, check your network connection or something like that. But anyway, that's kind of a minor thing. I don't know if that's I'm assuming that's a KDE thing. But I'm liking this like this right now. Everything seems to be working okay. I'll check back probably in a couple of days and see how things are going. But so far, so good. So after a couple of days and some more updates, I've been using my laptop as I usually do, and with no issues. Now, I haven't changed any major system settings other than the theming I showed you earlier, and also installing some codecs that I needed to record and edit videos and audio recordings. I haven't tried or installed any games so far. I was able to set up a couple of IMAP email accounts in Kmail without any issues. All the other stuff I usually do on my laptop has worked just fine, as I would expect of a modern Linux distro. KDE proved to be pretty flexible, and I like the fact that the theming can encompass both desktop layouts and other settings in one go, rather than working with multiple extensions, icon packs, and so on, as you would have to do in GNOME. I'll keep using Fedora and KDE for now, as it does everything I need, but as usual, don't be too shocked if the itch gets me again and I re-image my laptop one more time. So thanks for watching, and thanks for egging me on to try KDE again. So that's another video in the can. If you found this informative or interesting, please consider liking and subscribing down below. And remember, be excellent to each other.